Arizona Cardinals 29, Chicago Bears 9. We protected our home field against those boys, put an absolute beat down on them. An absolute beat down. It was never really close at any point in the game. That's how dominating of a performance we put in. Offense, defense, special teams. We had it all going for us to capture our third straight victory. Like we've always been that team that'll get a victory here. We'd be looking good. Next week we look horrible. So inconsistent. It's glad to see that we're able to string together three straight, and looking on the horizon, it could potentially be more. But we start out the game not the not firing on all cylinders on offense, but we were able to get our defense get some stops. At some point in I think it was the second quarter, it started raining, and I was like, I could have sworn we had a dome, an indoor stadium, but we had the whoever was in charge of that closed it up. But the Bears, what they couldn't close up was their leaky O line. We were putting that pressure. We were putting the pressure on Caleb Williams all game. Stills, he was living in the backfield. He might still be there as I speak. Absolutely, we're putting pressure on him. He really had nowhere to go. He did in the first quarter try and scramble a little bit, but our defense realized it real quick. They've seen it in practice, so they went ahead and shut it down real quick. They've seen the much better version of it quite often in practice with Kyler Murray, and it's also the Bears. The second quarter, at the end of the second quarter meltdown was absolutely, it was great to watch as a Cardinals fan, but as a Bears fan, oh my God, I can only imagine when DeMarcado broke off the run, and because we didn't have any more timeouts, and it was right before half. I was like, slow down now. No, I seen the Jamaican flag on his helmet. He had me sound like Bobby Valentino. I was like, slow down, run out of bounds. But once he hit that second level, saw that he had that block, I was like, good thing he did not listen to me. Just took it all the way, got us 6 points instead of three right before half. And like my next thought right away was, there's probably gonna be a Zillow profile with the name Eberflus on it real soon, because that's back-to-back end of halves with horrendous execution. Talking, it's not looking good for the Bears. But hey, I'm glad it's not us. That used to be us. That was such a Cardinals thing in the past. But it looks like we've turned a corner, and we're growing up. We're growing up as a team. Uh, Now, as far as our performances go, I mean, James Conner, the Terminator, John James Conner, absolutely breaking tackles like a politician does promises. The man leads the league in broken tackles, and I did not know that. He's about to turn 30, so he's putting all that old stuff to rest as far as his performance goes. Who else did we have? We had Buddha Ballistic Baker. I mean, the guy, he's just one of those guys that's always gonna pop out on the screen, just absolutely bringing the heat every single play. He pops off the screen, and it's not like our defense was bad today. Our defense is really what won us the game today. We were living in their backfield, putting pressure on Caleb, and we just the defense has come a really long way. Shout out to Jonathan Gannon, because I mean the talent is not A1, but we're able to put together some great performances with players that aren't Pro Bowl or All Pro level players, which is a testament to coaching. That's why you got a defensive coach, and we're seeing the results. With Trey McHurdle back at it, just making highlight plays. It's as a Cardinals fan, it's rare seeing a tight end put in performances like this, but Trey, he's just different. He's different. He's gonna be a great player for a long time. And Kyler, he didn't have to have the most spectacular performance today, but he was he showed up. He made plays when they needed to be made. There's something I've noticed about his game too. In the past, whenever he'd scramble, he was always looking to bounce out with it, like YBN Namer. Just every run he was looking to bounce it out because he didn't. He was always avoiding a contact from cutting inside. But recently, I've noticed he's willing to make that cut back inside and dive and maybe even lower his shoulder here to pick up the extra yards that way, which is given it's surprised a lot of defenders because a couple games ago that's how he iced the game. He was running right, cut inside, picked up the first down, iced the game. He did it again today on his first scramble of the game to pick up a first down on third down where we really needed it. It was one of those where if we didn't convert, it could have potentially swung the momentum for the Bears, but he did what needed to be done. He whenever players make promises before the season and say this year is going to be different, he's actually shown it on the field with his play and his willingness to put his body in situations where he wouldn't have before. And it's good to see as a fan that he's taking those steps. One thing I did not like was the lack of action for our wideouts. Mike Will made it. Wilson, he did not a single catch. A target that was a bit thrown a bit low, but not much going either for Marvin Harrison Jr. If we want to make it far in the season, we're gonna have to have perimeter production. We can't just rely on having a great run game. We have to develop our outside receiving game so it can show up for us when we need it, when we absolutely need to to push the ball downfield. So that's just something. Yeah, we got the win, but it's something I'd like to see. I'd like to see us improve on. And shout out an honorable mention. Shout out Joey Blunt. That play, the special teams play he made in the fourth quarter, where he caught it at the 1 yard line from a punt that led to a safety. That's one of those plays that just shows how far we've come as far as our mentality as a team. In the past, maybe a player we're up by so much they won't be as locked in, but he was able to make the play at the 1 yard line and get us a safety, then just continue to give us the dominating performance on defense. So it just goes to show where the culture is at, and it's very promising for a fan. Now, looking forward, next week we've got the Jets coming into town. Aaron and the boys. People they come to Arizona to retire. That's kind of what it's known for. Hopefully, Aaron comes in and puts in a retirement-worthy performance. Have us send us on a bye week on a good note. But the Seahawks and Rams played today. Unfortunately, they didn't tie. But since the Rams won, that leaves us lonely at the top of the division, like Asake. So we're sitting at the top midway through the season, and the Arizona Cardinals are at the top of the NFC West. Who would have thought? I ain't gonna lie, not me. But I'm glad to see it happen.